Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the CJS channel, where today we're playing Mario Kart.
Now you might be wondering, CJS, why are you dressed up as a traffic cone? I don't actually know. But what I do know is that I've been playing Mario Kart World pretty much non-stop since the game came out, and here are 50 plus of the best tips that I've learned, roughly from easiest to hardest, that will help you win. Have the correct settings. There are 4 main setting options before going into a race: smart steering, which prevents you from falling off the track or going off-road; auto accelerate, which automatically accelerates you, obviously; auto use item, which I don't even need to describe that, do I? And tilt control, that allows you to steer by twisting or turning your controller. Make sure all of these options are turned off, as they can all be a detriment to you in some way. Smart steering can stop you from taking shortcuts. Auto accelerate doesn't allow you to coast, which can actually be helpful, for example to ensure you can make a corner or collect as many coins as possible from a coin shell. And also, it's just weird. Are you too lazy to press the A button? Auto use item, as the name suggests, automatically uses your item, but it just does it randomly, which is obviously bad, as sometimes you'll want to hold on to an item, for example if you have triple mushrooms ready for a shortcut coming up and, oh no, now it's just been used on some regular straight. And finally, tilt controls is far more janky and less consistent than just using your analog stick, and that's coming from someone who used to main the Wii wheel. Maximum startup boost. Ever since the very beginning of Mario Kart, by timing it perfectly you can get a speed boost at the start, catapulting yourself ahead of the other racers, but in most games the timing of it changes. For Mario Kart World, you can get the best startup boost by holding down A as soon as the 2 text fully completes on your screen, but just make sure that you don't do it any earlier than this or you will burn out. Start your drift early. Throughout the entire Mario Kart franchise, drifting has been a core part of the gameplay, and here it is no different. By pressing and holding the R button, you can start a drift. This lets you turn tighter and will also grant you a mini turbo, indicated by the sparks coming out of your tyres that will temporarily increase your speed. The mini turbo increases in strength as it goes from blue to orange and finally to rainbow, which makes the boost last longer based on how long you hold the drift for and how tightly you turn. And starting your drift earlier makes it easier to get bigger mini turbos. By drifting left into a right hand corner and vice versa, you can do a wide drift, allowing you to build up the drift without... Get your items faster. By pressing the L button, you can get your item about a second faster after hitting an item box, as it skips past the roulette animation. It will not affect the item you will receive, but may come in handy to give you a bit of added protection earlier. Don't choose your items right away. It may be tempting to just spam your items for a temporary gain by hitting the person in front of you, but holding them will be much more beneficial in the long term. In Mario Kart World, items are automatically held out, which can protect you from red and green shells. Other examples as to why it's important to hold your items is if you get hit, a mushroom or the new dash food can help you gain speed again after, or if you're in first place, holding onto a super horn can protect you from a blue shell. Use the minimap. The minimap gets more and more important with every game release. With Mario Kart 8, you can see when people in stars and bullets as well as blue shells, and in Mario Kart World you can also do that, but it's even more useful now with 24 races and more time to look at it due to the higher number of straightaways. Character unlocks. When first starting out the game, you will have 32 out of the total 50 playable characters. However, unlocking new ones you don't have are fairly simple. After getting a trophy from finishing in the top 3 in a Grand Prix for the first time, you will unlock a new one, which in order from Mushroom to Lightning is Donkey Kong, Daisy, Rosalina, Lakitu, Birdo, King Boo and Bowser Jr. You don't unlock a new character for completing the special cup. There are many more characters to unlock though, and they all come from the new Kamex transformational power item. When the spell is used on you in a race, you will transform into an enemy relating to the biome or track, and if it's a new one, you will unlock that character. Costume unlocks. Excluding Mario Kart Tour, for the first time you can unlock multiple different costumes for most characters in the game. This can be achieved by collecting and using the new dash food item, which will also give you the equivalent of a mushroom boost. You can see how many costumes you have left to collect for certain characters by hovering over their icon in the world map. Kart unlocks. Similarly to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, karts are unlocked by collecting tons of coins over a longer period of time. In a normal race, it states you are limited to just 20, however any coins you collect will be added to your total. Also, while in free roam, there is no limit, so by exploring the new map and collecting as many coins as possible, you unlock all the new karts much quicker. The final kart is unlocked once you have collected a total of 3,000 coins. Sticker unlocks. While exploring free roam, you may see the new P-switches, Peach medallions and question mark panels. By either driving into a P-switch for a quick challenge to complete, into a medallion, or over a panel, this will grant you a sticker, which can be placed on your cart or bike as a bonus customisable accessory. Question mark blocks in particular can be difficult to spot, especially on higher platforms, so use the 3D minimap to help identify some you might have otherwise missed. Learn the tracks. Whether this is your first Mario Kart game or you're a veteran, learning the tracks is the most important tip for success. Knowing different paths, which ones are quicker, which ones you might need a mushroom boost for are essential. Even the returning retro tracks from previous games have seen numerous changes and brand new techniques to help you go faster, so try to memorise the tracks as much as possible in single player before challenging yourself further in online. Use free roam to your advantage. With Mario Kart World comes a new addition to the series, being free roam, which enables you to explore both the world but also the tracks you race on, without the worry of items or other players, which can help you find secret paths or hidden shortcuts, allowing you to get ahead of your opponents. Knockout Tour. The brand new game mode for Mario Kart World is Knockout Tour. In this, you'll compete against 23 other racers driving to 6 different tracks, and at each new track, a checkpoint will be waiting to eliminate the bottom 4 drivers, until there's just 4 left, where it will be a final sprint to finish first. Although I said in an earlier tip to save your items, when approaching a new section, treat it like it's the finish line and do everything within your power to ensure you are not in the bottom 4 and get eliminated. Slipstreaming. With a larger amount of straightaways in Mario Kart World, slipstreaming has never been easier or more important. This can be achieved by driving closely behind someone for a couple of seconds, indicated by a white glow appearing around your character's head before giving you a temporary speed boost. Just make sure they don't have an item behind they could hit you with. Use your rear view camera. By pressing the X button, you can look behind you, which can help see what items other people are carrying and what is coming after you, such as green shells. This tip is especially useful in Mario Kart World, as there's more players, meaning more items, as well as more straightaways, giving you more time to look back. Spin turn. Sometimes you can get a turn wrong and now you're stuck in the wall. In Mario Kart 8, the way to get out quickly was through spamming the L button to hop, which made you turn quicker. However, in Mario Kart World that doesn't work, and you need to perform a Mario Kart Wii technique of pressing the accelerator and brake buttons of A and B together. This will then be a quick turnaround for your kart and hopefully your race. Oh, never mind. Hop to go faster. However, hopping can still be very useful. Although by itself it grants no change in speed, if you take an off-road shortcut, by hopping into the air you can avoid touching the off-road surface for a bit longer, therefore keeping your speed up before you get slowed down. This works the same if you're just short on a mushroom boost before making it to the other side. Hop to keep the boost and momentum for longer, and now you've just avoided touching grass, which I'm sure a lot of you are very good at anyway. Recovery drift. After getting hit by an item or vehicle or chocolate boulder, you slow down, and just by driving it can take a couple seconds to get back up to full speed, especially with low acceleration driver and vehicle combos. So instead, drive slightly to the side and begin a drift to quickly get a mini turbo. The boost from that will put you back up to full speed. Trick in the right direction. By pressing the R button coming off a ramp, jump, rail, or by holding it down whilst going in a straight line, you can perform a trick, and this will give you a short speed boost. However, by pressing R again with your left stick in a certain direction whilst in mid-air, you perform another trick, which helps to turn your character more. This works more effectively with gliders, which can help properly align you for some dash rings or to execute the following corner easier. Time your tricks. As I just mentioned, you can press the R button to do a trick, but how early or late you trick will vary the height you receive. In past Mario Kart, you want to trick as late as possible to get what is called a low trick. However, in World, it's the opposite, so ideally you want to trick as early as possible to get back onto the ground quicker, as that is most of the time faster than being in the air. Another way to time your tricks is in water. By pressing the R button on the way back up from landing in water, you can perform a trick that will then send you back up into the air, allowing you to chain them over and over if timed right. Charge jump. New to Mario Kart World is the charge jump, which by holding down the R button allows you to build a mini turbo in a straight line and perform a jump upon release. But is this quicker? Here the Ghost is just driving normally in a straight line, whilst the live one is me doing a charge jump, which you can clearly see is slower. It is also the same with an orange and rainbow mini turbo too, however the deficit is reduced. But of course, that doesn't make this useless, as it can still be used to get onto walls and grind rails to create shortcuts. Wall riding. Wall riding in this game can be very beneficial, but also detrimental in multiple ways. For example, on Sky High Sunday, you can ride the inside wall to take this turn sharper, however there are other walls such as this one on Shy Guy Bazaar that take a wider turn and therefore longer route. But one big trick that you can perform is to do a wall trick chain. When approaching the end of a wall, hold down the R button and after the sparks come up, release to perform a charge jump, to boost onto the end of the wall before quickly tricking off that to get a double boost. This will be simple to perform after a couple tries and will shave off some valuable seconds. Rewind. Also new to Mario Kart World is the ability to rewind. This can be incredibly useful when trying out a new shortcut, for example, so you can instantly have another go and eventually perfect it without having to wait until the next lap or restart the whole race just to try again. However, doing this in an actual race is not advised, as although you will get rewound, no one else will, leaving you multiple seconds behind. Brake drifting. Despite this being nowhere near as effective as past entries in the series due to the brake being weaker, it is still one of the most important techniques to learn. Sometimes while drifting, you can miss the apex of a corner, potentially so wide that you can hit the wall or fall off the other side. So to slow down, whilst being able to keep the drift and tight turning angle, press the B button while still drifting with R, and as soon as you've made the corner, release the brake and drift to use the mini turbo you built up to get you back up to speed. Just be careful not to brake too much, otherwise your drift will cancel. Collect coins. In Mario Kart 7 and 8, you can collect up to 10 coins to help increase your top speed, but with Mario Kart World, that number has doubled to 20, and collecting as many as possible, as early as possible, could be the difference between winning. But as there's now more coins to collect, it makes them now more important than ever, right? Coin nerf. Well, I thought I'd put it to the test. The live cow is me with 20 coins, and the ghost is 0 coins, and there isn't that much difference. Well, I did the statistics on it, and after some GCSE level maths calculations, I worked out I went about 4% quicker with 20 coins, making each one only give a 0.2% speed increase, a massive 2/3 of a nerf from 0.6% speed increase from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Coin physics. Unlike any other Mario Kart game with coins, they now took some science lessons about gravity, meaning coins can now slide down slopes or hills if dropped from a player getting hit, or from either of the new coin box or coin shell items. So sometimes you'll want to adjust to that when trying to collect as many as possible. Snaking nerf. A technique that once ruled the entire franchise is now officially dead. As you can see here, I put a pretty average and balanced setup against one of the best handling combos in the entire game to make snaking as effective as possible, and it was still slower. This can be seen in world record time trials as well, where quite often driving in a straight line is the fastest method. Bagging nerf. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, bagging was a popular term for purposely going slow to get better items before making a comeback at the end by taking advantage of lots of shortcuts. However, a lot of the bagging items such as the lightning, also known as the shock, and bullet bill have been heavily nerfed, making this technique much less effective. Acorns! On Cataquack Beach, there are some acorns lying around. You should always hit the acorns because the noise it makes is satisfying. Okay, that wasn't a proper tip. Let's do a different one for 30. Car tricks. You can now trick on cars. Although this sounds pretty insignificant, with all of the roads you drive on in between the courses, there'll be plenty of opportunities. The easiest way will be through holding down the R button to do a charge jump and get the air time needed. Successfully doing a trick on a car will grant a coin as a reward. You can also do this in certain wildlife too, although this seems a bit more unethical. Loose change. If you are near the front, you are likely to get a coin item that will grant you 2 additional coins when used. Don't use it. The other racers can see what item you are holding, but not what is in your secondary slot, and typically you want to keep it that way. The Boo Pow can also steal your first item, and which one would you rather it take? The coin or your protection item? Recovery coin. One final benefit of holding your coin item is what I like to call a recovery coin, which is when you time your coin just as you get hit to increase your acceleration again just after. For example, as you can see here, I'm about to get hit by a blue shell, meaning that I'll lose 3 coins, so I use my coin item that will give me 2 more, getting me back up to 19 and increasing my acceleration. Also help me rotate to my dash food quicker, allowing me to get right back up to speed and maintain first place. Steer the bullet. Despite being nerfed in this game, the bullet bill still remains one of the best items, making you invincible and travel faster than mushroom speed. On top of that, it drives for you. However, it often doesn't take very optimal lines, so to help resolve that, you can steer it to take tighter lines, or while on a straightaway, steer it into other players to bump into them and destroy their shells. Blooper tips. Following on from the minimap tip, if you've been hit by a blooper and you don't know where the track goes, you can use the minimap to get a rough idea as to where to go, by using a mushroom, golden mushroom, dash food, star, bullet bill, or by driving onto a dash panel will remove the ink effect applied to your screen. Furthermore, you can use the rear view camera and you won't be affected. Dodge the blue shell. The blue shell, or previously called the spiny shell, is one of the most iconic and notorious items in the entire franchise, and will often be a detriment to the player in first place. But fortunately, there are 12 ways to dodge it, which are Super Horn. If you use a Super Horn as it's about to hit you, you can break it. Unfortunately, Super Horns are the rarest obtainable item whilst in first place, and only have a roughly 1.5% chance of being rolled. Mushroom. You can actually dodge the explosion by perfectly timing a mushroom boost. You can do this consistently by looking for when the spikes of the shell are facing towards you. That's when to use the mushroom. This also works well with triple mushrooms. Golden mushroom. Literally copy and paste what I just said about the regular mushroom, but it will be a lot harder to get a golden mushroom into first place as it can only be obtained in the lower positions. You can also just spam the golden and that'll work too. Ground mushroom. The exact same rule applies to mushrooms found on the ground. However, the chances of finding one just as a blue shell is about to hit is incredibly low, and it took 5 hours of non-stop trying just to get a clip of it. Rewinding. By utilising the new rewind feature through pressing the down arrow on your controller actually makes it a little faster than just getting hit. Plus you keep your coins and item. Invincibility frames. In Mario Kart 8, after getting hit by an item or object, there's a short period of time where you're invincible to stop you from getting infinitely comboed. You could have used this to your advantage by purposely getting hit by something weaker, such as a banana, by throwing it in front of you and colliding with it just before the blue shell. However, after trying it with pretty much everything in this game, nothing worked, no matter how I timed it. The only time I dodged a blue shell through iframes was when the shock struck at the exact same time. Lakitu. After falling off the track or being out of bounds, Lakitu will come to recover you. However, during this time, you are also invincible, meaning you can just fall off to avoid getting hit, although 99% of the time, this will be slower. Relinquish first. The blue shell notoriously targets first place, so if there's no way to dodge it, don't be in first place. By seeing a blue shell on its way on the minimap, you can slow down to let someone take first place and now it will retarget onto them. Just don't be too close to them when you do this. And finally, the 4 other items that make you invincible will also obviously dodge the blue shell, being the bullet bill, the star, the returning mega mushroom and the boo. Please note that getting any of these items into first is very difficult and unlikely, but after many hours I just about managed to get footage for all of them. I did try multiple times with the returning feather item, as well as the dash food, but unfortunately they didn't work. The reason why mushrooms worked is because they're actually coded differently to help you dodge the blue shells, and that's why the dash food didn't work, despite sometimes giving you a mushroom equivalent boost. Super Mario Bros. Around the world you will see these question mark blocks, reminiscent of the Super Mario Bros. Series. Often when you punch the box, you will receive a coin, and here that is also true. Sometimes you can go off a ramp and by pressing L while underneath it, you will hit it receiving 2 coins, however, often it will be required to do a charge jump just before to get the necessary height. Glider tricks. While in a glider, you can trick seemingly infinitely, but does that mean you should? I tested to see if it was any faster and it did not make a difference to your speed in the air or when you landed. I even tested it on a different glider ramp and now with 20 coins and had the same results. The only benefit to tricking mid-air is for easier realignment as the gliding in this game is the most stiff it's ever been. Glider drifts. Once again I tested with 20 coins to see if drifting off a glider ramp would be more effective, and unlike Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, this is now slower. I even tested it with motion gliding and tricking for realignment and I confirm it is not worth it. On top of the world. If you want to 100% Mario Kart World, one of the main things you must do is achieve a 3-star ranking on all 8 cups and all 6 knockout tours in 150cc. To do this on the cups, it's the same as Mario Kart 8, where you must finish with 60 points for winning all 4 races. However, knockout tour is a lot harder. In total, there are 6 sections where the bottom 4 get eliminated, and to get 3 stars, you must be first to all 6 checkpoints, which is very difficult, especially as a lot of the time you can get screwed over through no fault of your own. As you can see here, I finished first in every section apart from the 4th, where I got done by a boo and red shell combo, resulting in only 2 stars, whereas my next attempt saw me go one better, being first through every checkpoint and getting the perfect rank. And finally, as a bonus tip, and possibly the most important one, make sure you subscribe to the CJS channel if you want to see more Mario Kart World content. It is my favourite ever gaming series, and I would love to make as many videos as I possibly can for this game, as I'm really enjoying it so far. So make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more. But thank you for watching it all the way to the end. Next week's video will be me discovering the best character and vehicle combination, not only in the game, but also for you individually, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, good night.
Playing Mario Kart. This is the worst thing I've ever done.
Sorry for stealing the cones. I've returned them now.